Throughout the tapestry of biblical history, the stories of many remarkable women have been woven into the sacred text, some celebrated, some misunderstood, and some nearly erased from common memory. Among these are the Black matriarchs of the Bible, women whose presence, resilience, and influence shape the destinies of nations, kings, and prophets. Their stories remind us that the history of the ancient world and of faith itself is richer, more diverse, and more complex than often acknowledged. Today, we journey through time to rediscover the Black matriarchs of the Bible, women like Asenath and Bathsheba, whose legacies continue to inspire, challenge, and empower. In the ancient world, the lands of Egypt, Canaan, Cush, and the broader regions of Africa and the Near East were interconnected through trade, migration, and dynastic alliances. The Bible, while often read through a narrow lens, actually reflects this vibrant diversity. The earliest chapters of Genesis situate humanity's origins along the lush rivers and rich soils of northeastern Africa and the Middle East, with rivers like the Nile and the Gihon identified with the land of Cush, reminding us that Africa was always present in the biblical imagination. From the beginning, Black women played pivotal roles. They were not only present in the background, they were mothers, queens, advisors, and catalysts of change. Yet over centuries, their stories have often been sidelined, their identities obscured by translations, traditions, and selective readings. But the truth remains. The matriarchs of African descent left indelible marks on the faith and destinies of their people. Let us begin with Asenath, a woman whose very name means she belongs to Neith, the Egyptian goddess. Asenath was Egyptian by birth, brought up in the ancient city of On, known for its towering temples and vibrant culture. She entered the biblical narrative at a dramatic moment. Joseph, the favored son of Jacob, had risen from slavery and imprisonment to become second only to Pharaoh in Egypt. Recognizing Joseph's wisdom, Pharaoh gave him Asenath as a wife. Asenath's story is more than an aside in Joseph's epic. When she became his wife, she also became the mother of two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. These sons, born of an Israelite father and an Egyptian mother, were later adopted by Jacob as his own, grafted into the 12 tribes of Israel. This act was not merely symbolic, it was transformative. Through Asenath, Egyptian blood and heritage flowed into the very heart of Israel's identity. The tribes of Manasseh and Ephraim would become great among their brethren, their names echoing across generations. It was through the line of Ephraim, especially, that leaders and prophets would arise. Yet, Asenath herself is often left in the margins, a footnote to Joseph's saga. But her significance cannot be overstated. She bridged worlds, Hebrew and Egyptian, shepherd and royal, exile and native. Her story speaks to the possibilities of integration, the breaking down of barriers, and the enduring power of maternal influence. Through Asenath, we see that the future of a people often depends on the courage and wisdom of women who navigate the boundaries of culture and faith. Moving forward in biblical history, we encounter Bathsheba, a woman whose name and story have been misrepresented and misunderstood for centuries. Bathsheba's identity is complex. She was the wife of Uriah the Hittite, a man of foreign descent, serving in the army of King David. Bathsheba herself is described in Jewish tradition and some scholarly circles as a woman of African descent, possibly with roots in the Hittite or Canaanite populations, groups that intermarried and migrated across the regions. Bathsheba's story is often told through the lens of her encounter with King David, a story of desire, power, and consequence. But to focus only on this moment is to miss the fullness of her life and influence. After the tragic death of her husband, Bathsheba became one of David's wives, and most importantly, the mother of Solomon, the future king, renowned for his wisdom and wealth. Bathsheba was not a passive figure. In the later years of David's reign, as intrigue and rivalry over succession threatened the kingdom, Bathsheba emerged as a political strategist and advocate for her son. She approached the aging David, reminding him of his oath that Solomon would succeed him. Her courage, intelligence, and resolve ensured the stability of the throne and the continuation of David's line, a line that, according to the Gospels, would lead to Jesus himself. Bathsheba's motherhood was not just biological, it was visionary. She raised Solomon in the court, teaching him, guiding him, and preparing him for the burdens of kingship. The book of Proverbs even attributes to her the wise sayings of Lemuel, a king whose mother instructed him in the ways of justice and leadership. Bathsheba's legacy, therefore, is not one of scandal, but of strength, wisdom, and maternal devotion. But Asenath and Bathsheba are not alone. The Bible introduces us to other black women whose stories deserve to be remembered. Consider Hagar, the Egyptian servant of Sarah, Abraham's wife. Hagar's life was marked by hardship and displacement, yet she is the only person in the Bible who gives God a name, El Roi, the God who sees me. Hagar's resilience in the face of abandonment and her role as the mother of Ishmael, the ancestor of many nations, cannot be underestimated. Hagar's story is a testament to the endurance and faith of women who find themselves on the margins yet encounter the divine in their suffering. Then there is Zipporah, the wife of Moses. She was the daughter of Jethro, priest of Midian, a people with deep connections to Africa and Arabia. When Moses fled Egypt, it was in Zipporah's tent that he found refuge, love, and partnership. Zipporah was not simply a bystander. She intervened at a crucial moment, saving Moses' life by her swift action and understanding of covenant. Through her, the line of Moses continued, and the deliverer of Israel was sustained. The Queen of Sheba, whose name is not given but whose fame is legendary, journeyed from the land of Cush, often identified with Ethiopia or southern Arabia, to test Solomon's wisdom. She came with gifts, questions, and a royal retinue, and left with knowledge, treasures, and perhaps, according to tradition, a child who would become the ancestor of Ethiopian royalty. The encounter between Solomon and the Queen of Sheba symbolizes the meeting of Africa and Israel, of wisdom and curiosity, of feminine leadership and masculine rule. These women, Asenath, Bathsheba, Hagar, Zipporah, the Queen of Sheba, and others, were not simply background figures. They were matriarchs, mothers of nations, and kings, shapers of history and faith. Their stories challenge us to look beyond the surface, to recognize the diversity of the biblical world, and to honor the contributions of black women whose lives have too often been overlooked. But why were these stories marginalized? Part of the answer lies in history itself. As the Bible was transmitted, translated, and interpreted across centuries and continents, certain perspectives became dominant. The diversity of the ancient world was sometimes flattened, the complexities of ethnicity and identity simplified or ignored. In art, literature, and theology, the image of biblical characters was often shaped by the cultures and assumptions of those retelling the stories. Yet, in the original text and in the echoes of tradition, the truth remains. The Bible is a story of many peoples, many lands, and many women whose courage, intelligence, and faithfulness shaped the destiny of nations. To reclaim the stories of the black matriarchs is to reclaim a fuller, richer history, not just for the sake of accuracy, but for the inspiration and empowerment of future generations. Let us look again at Asenath, standing at the crossroads of Egypt and Israel. Imagine her navigating the complexities of court life, raising her sons in the shadow of pyramids and palaces, teaching them the wisdom of two cultures. Manasseh and Ephraim would grow up to lead tribes, to to inherit blessings, to wrestle with the challenges of identity and belonging. Through Asenath, the future of Israel was forever linked to Africa, to Egypt, to the traditions and strengths of a proud and ancient people. Consider Bathsheba, whose journey from grief to power is a story of transformation. She endured loss, shame, and uncertainty, yet emerged as Queen Mother, counselor, and advocate. Her son, Solomon, would become the wisest king of Israel, building the temple and ushering in a golden age. Bathsheba's influence, her advice, her prayers, her presence was felt at every step. Even centuries later, when the gospel writers traced the lineage of Jesus, they included Bathsheba, reminding us that the promise of salvation was carried forward by women of strength and substance. And what of Hagar, alone in the wilderness, yet seen by God? Her story is a reminder that no one is invisible, that the cries of the oppressed reach the ears of the divine, and that even those cast aside by society can become mothers of nations. Hagar's faith in the face of despair became a legacy passed down through generations. Zipporah, too, stands as a figure of wisdom and action. In a moment of crisis, she stepped forward, understanding the importance of covenant and ritual. Her actions preserved the leader of Israel, her presence a reminder that the journey of deliverance was shaped not just by men, but by women who understood the ways of God. The Queen of Sheba, traveling with her caravan across deserts and mountains, symbolizes the curiosity and boldness of Black women who seek knowledge, form alliances, and shape the destiny of nations. Her encounter with Solomon was not merely a diplomatic visit. It was a meeting of minds, a celebration of wisdom, and a recognition of the global reach of the biblical world. These stories are not just ancient tales. They are living legacies. The Black matriarchs of the Bible speak to us today, inviting us to remember, to honor, and to emulate their courage and faith. In families across the world, Black women continue to embody the spirit of these matriarchs. They are mothers, leaders, teachers, and visionaries, carrying forward the traditions of resilience and hope. Their struggles and triumphs echo the journeys of Asenath, Bathsheba, and their sisters. When we remember the Black women of the Bible, we acknowledge the roots of faith that run deep into the soil of Africa, the wisdom that crosses boundaries, and the power of maternal love that shapes generations. History may have tried to erase these women, to minimize their impact, to rewrite their stories, but their presence endures in the pages of Scripture, in the traditions of communities, in the lives of those who draw strength from their example. To reclaim the stories of the Black matriarchs is to reclaim a part of ourselves, a heritage of strength, beauty, and faith. It is to recognize that the story of the Bible is the story of all people in all their diversity. Let us then remember Asenath, whose courage to embrace a new people shaped the future of Israel. Let us honor Bathsheba, whose wisdom and perseverance ensured the survival of a royal line. Let us celebrate Hagar, whose faith in the wilderness became the foundation of nations. Let us learn from Zipporah, whose understanding and action sustained a deliverer. Let us be inspired by the Queen of Sheba, whose quest for wisdom changed the course of history. And let us look to the future, knowing that the legacy of the Black matriarchs is not confined to the past. It lives on in every woman who dares to lead, to love, to hope, and to dream. The Bible is a tapestry, rich, complex, and beautiful. The threads of Black women, mothers, queens, prophets, run through its every page, binding together the stories of faith, resilience, and redemption. May we never forget their names, their stories, or their enduring power to shape the world. As we close our journey through the lives of the Black matriarchs of the Bible, let us carry their lessons with us: the courage to bridge cultures, the wisdom to navigate power, the faith to persevere in adversity, and the love that binds generations together. For in remembering them, we remember ourselves and the boundless possibilities that lie ahead. If this story moves something in you, share it with someone else who's lost. Subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter. And if there's a legend, a memory, or a haunting you need to hear told, leave it in the comments. Perhaps your story will be the next to rise from the ashes.